this isn't really what you want. Car barfed on my way to work this morning. See all the Christmas tree lights. Some of it, I think, is the speed sensor for the transmission, whatever the hell gives me my speed on the dash, because it's all over the place, and it dropped out actually this morning. That was the first thing that happened, is I lost the speedo. Like right now we're doing 60 and it's all over. I lost the speedo this morning and everything else went nuts, but transmission's making a few noises I don't really like. It's been kind of funky since I've owned the car, but it's a Honda CVT, so who knows what it's supposed to sound like. Not me. But it's not sounding too mechanically happy this morning, so we're gonna limp this thing home and put the big box on it and see what kind of codes we've got, see if we've got anything. But at a minimum, I'm losing the speed signal from the transmission, I think. So we'll see what happens. Alright, well, we're almost home, but boy, this transmission is not happy. It hasn't failed, but I've been going super easy on it. And it is pissed off. Let's see if we can hear it. You can hear that chatter over the wind noise, but yeah, she is unhappy. All right, well, we'll figure it out when we get home, hopefully. I don't think that's what it's supposed to do. Don't think that's what it's supposed to do. Yep. I'm thinking that at this point, the 225,000 miles this thing ran without ever changing the fluid, from what I can tell, may have eaten the little CVT. Hybrid system is working properly now that the speed sensor is back, even though it's not flopping, even though it's flopping around. So the big expensive stuff, from what I can tell, isn't too bad, but something is really unhappy with that transmission. The auto stop works. Sometimes it's fine, but man, and we got emission system, forward collision warning, lane departure. They all came up when the speed sensor died immediately. And it did come up with a transmission fault immediately back 50 miles ago, but that seems to have gone away after a couple of restarts. What the emission system could possibly be, but these things are so interconnected, there's just no telling. Still got 53 miles to the gallon on the way home, so that's not terrible. Yeah, it's jerking around. Something is amiss. So let's get this into the garage, into the driveway, and take a look. All right, well, here we are. Made it home. Crunching and clanking and scrabbling as we did. Did a full code scan with the old Pro S, and biggest thing I'm concerned about is this automatic transmission code. Interesting. 0502 CVT speed sensor circuit open short. Interesting. What else we got? Let's call those phantoms for now. And we'll call those phantoms, because they're not. Speed signal error. That was all from that. Everything else looks good. So I'm going to go get the book, and we're going to look at this, because I think this is what it is here, because the speed sensor is what lost its mind first, before everything else barfed. So let's go to report. Okay. Yep. Alright. So let's go see what we got for this P0502. Alright, so there it is, 0502. It definitely did blink the D indicator when that happened. CVT speed sensor circuit open and short, and if I had known to watch the video where the blinks, it would have blinked 3.6, but it's got this 2, which is interesting. So let's go to here. Two. This code is caused by an electrical circuit problem and cannot be caused by a mechanical problem in the transmission. Well, that's good, I guess. But I'll tell you, that's the loudest, nastiest sounding electrical circuit problem I've ever heard when it came to driving this thing. So let's go to P codes. Oh, 502. Okay, we got a 5-volt signal, a ground, and the speed going to a resistor. Fairly simple sensor by the looks. Vehicle speed sensor attached to the outside transmission housing, detects number of revs per secondary driven gear, sends a pulsing signal to the powertrain module, converts it to vehicle speed. If no pulses occur with the secondary driven gear rotating, it detects a malfunction and may be caused by an temporary open or short to ground. Well, we're definitely getting transient stuff, because the speed, even after the signal came back, after it had completely died, it was not steady. It was flopping around, tended to read a few miles an hour low occasionally. So, enable conditions. Okay. Well, we obviously met all of those. Probable cause. Speed sensor short to ground, speed sensor failure, PCM failure. I'm kind of going to say that's probably not it. Speed sensor line open, loose connection. No confirmation procedure with the Honda data system. Great. Okay. See about the DTC troubleshooting. Beg pardon? There it is. Okay, vehicle speed sensor. Measure voltage between connections 1 or 2. Should be 5 volts. Now I don't have a scope, or I could measure, I guess, the output from the scope on... Okay, so we're going to have to just go take a look at this sensor, see if we can find it. Maybe do a drain and flush on the transmission, see if there's any metal, because it didn't sound good at all. And I can't see this sensor failing as part of the problem. I think that the sensor is reading correctly, but there's something internal to the transmission that is slipping. But, well, no, because this is a circuit code. This isn't a speed-related code. Transmission type related code. This is a circuit code. So we're going to go check and see if we can find where this sensor lives. Alright, so the instructions say to basically remove the whole air box and pop the shifter cable off, which is that corrugated thing down there. And underneath that on the left, I can see it. It's way back there, tucked on the transmission. I pulled the fluid, pulled the dipstick. It looks clear, a little gray, but not bad considering what it looked like before. Fluid looks good. So we're going to, see if we can get to this thing. Intake's not too bad to come off, really, I don't think. Take the top off, then a couple of bolts, and the bottom comes out. And, then maybe we can get to it. We will see. So there's our connector. The unit is right down here underneath this. Haven't gotten to that point yet. So we're going to check pin 1, which is the pink one on the left. I'm going to go get some probes, see what we got. Alright, got it hooked up a little bit better. From the power to the direct ground, we got 5.02 volts. Okay, test point 2 is body ground. Okay, never mind. So yeah, I have 5 volts. Go to step 4. Alright, well, randomly I did the second test first, because vehicle speed sensor connection. Let's see. Turn the ignition switch on, measure the voltage between connector of 1 and 2, and I did that. So I did it between 1 and the ground, which gave me 5 volts. Go to step 4. Measure the voltage between vehicle speed sensor 3-pin connector, between the gray and the red. Number 3 is the pink wire. Yeah, that's what I was reading before. So I got it on 3 and 2 right now, which is wrong, because I'm an idiot. So now I got to measure the other 2, gray to red, and see if there's about 5 volts or not. So, alright, you got to make sure you got your sensors connected properly. Alright, so, alright, gray to red, right there. Good. Key on. Yes. Just restarted. Alright. But I do have 5 volts there. And now I gotta go get something else because my tablet just did an update. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so we are checking that. We do have 5 volts between those two connectors, at which point the instructions say replace the sensor. But what it doesn't say for this test is to whether this is disconnected or not. The first test, it said specifically disconnect that sensor and check the 5 volts to ground, which we did. But it doesn't say what to do here. So I think I'm going to try to plug that back in and test it by back probing and see if it's still the same. Alright, sure enough, I got it back probed. And with the key on and the sensor plugged in, we are right at 5 volts. So the recommendation there is to change the sensor. So I guess that's what we're going to do, because that's the easiest thing to do without tearing the whole transmission apart at this point. So we'll start to eliminate that. Maybe because it was losing its mind, it was doing weird things mechanically, but it was not happy. So that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to go see what it's going to cost to get a vehicle speed sensor for this pile and how long it's going to take, and go from there. Alright, so it's finally done. Looking at everything again, we're going to clear all this garbage out. Okay. Alright, all the faults have gone away. Very good. Let's see what it sounds like.
The phone has been connected.
Oh, God almighty, I know. Alright. Seems normal at the moment. So I think I am going to order a new sensor. I may take it for a drive later, just to see, maybe maybe there was a little intermittent connection issue and I fixed it by jiggling the connector around. But right now it's not throwing any codes. Everything is happy. So that's one thing with these cars, man. When one little thing goes wrong, there's so much stuff that's integrated. It just loses its mind. I mean, we had Hydro Boost issues, forward collision warning issues, I had automatic transmission issues, ABS issues, restraint system issues, TPM issues. I mean, everything lost its mind. All because the speed sensor puked at one point. So we're probably going to see what we can do with this, and I'll report back if I find out anything interesting. So, hope you're all having a good day. Talk to y'all later.